There is magic in the mundane, bliss in the banal. The day is your dharma. I'm your host, Amaryllis, Ayurvedic health counselor, yogini, and Akashic Records reader, and this is your life altered. Hello, it is Tuesday, and I'm hoping that last week was an incredible week for you, given all that was happening, and that you really set and anchored into your intentions for this coming year. And also know that it's never too late. If it's something you haven't done, do it on your own time, and know that any time is a good time and can be a good time. Why we do it on these certain dates and days with, new moon and lunar new year, because, there's energetic frequencies that are going on around us as well that help support you. But know that nothing is stronger than the power of your own intention and vision and the declaration of that. So anytime is a good time. And I know that I had a really great week last week. I finally made another video where I used to do this where I would record myself doing a little bit of yoga / dance movement. So it's not really dance, but it's not the classical yoga poses either. So I was just moving and I recorded it, and I was listening to some music that was really inspiring when I did it, and I shared that. And that's something I used to do and really enjoyed, and I have not done that in a really long time. Honestly, it's probably pre-COVID. Oh no, I think I made one right when COVID was hitting, but pre-COVID, because I'm never in yoga studios anymore, and I don't teach. I used to be teaching all these classes throughout the week, and my life is very different, and I realized, how much I missed that. So that was fun to post. I think it's on Instagram right now. Yeah, I'm probably going to post it on TikTok soon. Anyway, so happy start of your week. This is not coming out on Monday like I had planned. It's a work in progress. I had set the intention for Mondays and Thursdays, and still working on it. But I'm going for getting it done and being a work in progress and not beating myself up. So that is okay. And I know that you all are also going to give leniency and forgive. So today is a quick message about joy. And this is something that I've seen come up from a lot of teachers recently, especially on Instagram and podcast, who are talking about joy. And especially in this time, how it feels like such a radical idea to be living from joy and to have joy, to cultivate joy, when so much is happening in the world, so much seems to be going wrong, so much seems to be falling apart. How could one be in joy? And I really say to that, yes, things are falling apart, things can be hard, things are happening that you don't expect, you're needing to move through grief, and also at the same time, remember and come back to these moments, these places of joy. I recently came across this Instagram creator, and her name is Yumi Sakugawa. And so it was so cute. One, it's these playful illustrations and that she draws, and then there's also words on the image. So I came across this one, and I want to read it because I think she just sums it up so beautifully and succinctly. Receiving pleasure is a radical act in a world that tells you you are not enough. When you receive pleasure without shame, you are telling yourself, yes, I am enough. I do not have to earn or deserve feeling good, resting, savoring joy. I will not live in a non-existent, idealized future. I am fully alive in this messy, imperfect present moment, and I will allow myself for a time to slow down and to awaken to my senses. Yes, this moment now is more than enough. Isn't that lovely? It really sums up so much of what we as Westerners have been taught and the messages we've been given about joy. And, really when she wrote that I do not have to earn or deserve feeling good, resting, savoring joy, I mean, that really sums up our Western culture. So much of it is that we're not allowed these things until we've produced enough, worked enough, um, and who defines enough? Are we defining that? Is somebody else defining that? And why is it that I'm not allowed and not allowing myself joy in a world that is also experiencing pain and hardship and grief? Why is it that I won't allow myself joy amidst my own pain and grief and hardships? And I want to make especially a note to the starseeds that when starseeds come and arrive here, a lot of hard things happen, usually, a lot of early traumatic experiences, and also not feeling understood or welcomed or getting this kind of world that we live in. There's a lot of disconnection, dissociation. And because of that, we won't allow ourselves to feel joy because we're not actually in the world. And I had touched on that in a previous podcast just about not being here, that we have to come home to this. And one of the reasons is because we need to be in a place of joy and not 24/7. But we do need to live a good portion of our life in joy. And we can't enjoy and live in joy in our life if we are not actually even here. If we're somewhere off and who knows where, dissociated and not present. I will say I lived a good part of my life kind of out there, and not really being here and doing anything and everything that I could to not be present for my own experience. And a lot of that, as I have shared, involved drugs and alcohol. But I do know that when I was young, that I was really interested in experiencing. I loved the experience. I loved having fun and seeing what the world had to offer and savoring that and enjoying that. That was really fun to me. And I very clearly got the message, from my dad especially, that, all I wanted was to have fun and that this was a really bad thing. All you want to do is have fun. And, later came the societal expectations of, yeah, but what about your career? And you're supposed to work really hard. You're supposed to sacrifice all these things and on and on. And I'm just now realizing that I do really want to just have fun. And that doesn't mean I don't experience other aspects of life, and I do acknowledge that there's one kind of fun that I was having, which was a superficial level, especially when I was completely checked out, and drunk and or out of my mind, and just I was still having fun. It was a lot of fun, but what I realize now is that when my dad was using that word fun, it's because I wanted to really have experiences, many, many, many different experiences on this earth plane that brought me joy. Not I had a lot of fun, surface level, which, there's nothing wrong with that, but really joy. And something that brings me joy is experiencing a lot of different things in this life. And so from the outside, it looks like I don't have a lot of focus. I'll try a bunch of different things. It looks like I won't stick to one thing. From the outside, it looks like very much in Ayurveda that we call it a vata vitiation. I'm just here and there and everywhere. But really, one, that's a part of my nature, but also it's because I feel like a butterfly that's going from flower to flower, and I just want to drink the nectar and soak in this experience. Any experience. It brings me such joy to have these different experiences on this earth plane. I really do want to live in joy. And that's been my personal experience. It shows up differently for others, and I get that for you, maybe it doesn't mean going from thing to thing, all these different things. Maybe it's just a couple. And it doesn't even have to be external things and events and activities. Those are things that I really enjoy. But honestly, taking a nap in the middle of the day, some people really need that and they will not allow it. Some people really enjoy those naps, but they will not allow it. Are we bringing in joy on a daily basis? What is there in your life on a really regular and consistent basis in your day to day that brings you so much joy? Joy means depth. From way down in your center, soul self is, doing this jump up into the air saying, yippee, joy. I know these days that a lot of people are really finding ways to disrupt the system. And this is the time, this is what is happening on the planet right now, that the towers are falling, the things that have been built that do not serve are collapsing. But really, from this drawing that Yumi had posted, a radical act can be accepting and receiving and living in joy for yourself. We tend to think of, these radical acts and taking down the system as being things that are aggressive, done out of anger. There's this act of taking things down, pulling things apart, calling people out. But what if it's also receiving something that the world and many aspects and facets of the world and the matrix have taught you that joy is not for you, and that you have to deserve it, and that you have to earn it, and maybe you're not good enough for that. Living in joy, accepting the things that bring you such joy, is a radical act in this day and time. I've mostly, not 100%, let go of that shaming, that personal history and social, cultural shaming of joy. And I can tell you from this space that it feels so good. It feels good to know that I'm a starseed here and enjoying this planet, this 3D, for what it has to offer and savoring it And at the same time, as you've heard on, previous podcasts, also moving through grief, of my mom passing, and there are still hard things to navigate in life, and that I can do both. And I'm really saying and sharing, it's a beautiful place to come from, and it's still, I'm still working on it. No, I don't want to say working on it. What's a different word? I'm still creating this way of living. But from where I am right now, I can tell you it's a good place to be able to live in joy and also have the polarity of that, which is the struggles and the challenges. And also to know that I am doing something radical in this world that is saying, no, you don't get to live in joy. No, 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 no. You need to be working and struggling and striving and proving and somehow showing that you deserve. And who decides if you deserve? That's another question. So, my question to you today is, are you living in joy? Are you receiving joy just for the sake of it's here and available to you, and it's a part of this earthly experience? It's part of the experience of being a human. Are you allowing that? Are you bringing that in? And how can you bring in more joy along with everything else? So blessings to you for this week. May you have a joyful week in any way that suits and serves you. Not what other people think is joyful. You and only you. All right, I'll be back on Thursday. Remember that spirit guides but never decides. How will you choose this hour, this day, this week at the altar of your life? Thank you so much for listening. If you feel called, subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it. Also, connect with me and discover more on Instagram at Amaryllis_Fernandez. Until next time.